Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again. Can you believe it? We're back again. This series is alive. I'm alive. What the fuck is this intro? How you doing? Welcome back to another episode. Today, we hope to see this team continue to perform at as high of a level through the second half of the season as they did in the first half. We are yet again atop the Pacific Division. We have dominated the regular season, but we of course have not found playoff success. Hopefully that changes in the very near future. Before we get into simming today, there is one order of business we need to attend to, and that is that Johnathan Dahlan is going to be traded. He's 25. We gave him a chance. He's not going to get that much better. It's been okay. I don't know. Maybe I should give him a little bit more time because like a 20-point pace is okay. The -4 doesn't help. Gregor's been fine. Blichfeld's been okay. Maybe I will give him a little bit more time. If anybody goes, it's likely to be Dahlan. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on that fourth line. Now, there is the controversy of having Joe Pavelski just sitting here, but this is his punishment. This is what happens. Again, I'm not happy with myself for bringing in Hintz, call him what you will. I'm not happy about bringing him in and then trading him. I don't like doing that. It's cheesing the AI, and I try, as you can tell with a lot of my series, to not just abuse the AI because it's far too easy. Far too easy. But we got rid of him. We still have Pavelski as a scratch. Now, in the regular season, once we acquired him from Dallas last year, actually, it might have been from Minnesota after he was traded. I think it was. Once we acquired him, he was great. In the playoffs, I mean, offensively, he was fine, but defensively, he was getting shelled. We're still trying to carry him to victory. Hell, I'm tempted to trade for Patrick Marleau. Why not? Get him a goddamn ring. That's what we've been trying to do since we started this series. I don't know. You know what? Now that I think about it, maybe I was, in the moment, being a little bit too harsh on Johnathan Dahlan. I'm going to leave this team as is for the moment. We'll give it a little bit more time. It's January 1st. We have a bit of a ways to go before we even have to ponder trade deadline day. Let's see how we do. We'll give that full... well, that's how we doing. Not great. At least in that Arizona game is the correct answer. As Julius Bergman picks up an injury down in the AHL. I'm fine with that. Looking for our 25th win at some point over this back-to-back as we beat Edmonton. Apparently, we just shouldn't play games on Sundays or Wednesdays. Fridays are okay, though. As it appears. We don't know about Saturdays, though. Dylan Gambrell was roughed up a little bit. He's good to go now. An 8-0 win over the Vegas Golden Knights. Thanks for showing up. As we beat Montreal and lose to Calgary. So still winning the majority of our games, losing a bit more here and there. Another 8-goal performance. So we lose to the Islanders in the follow-up. And Ottawa for our last game of the month is a loss. So 29, 15-6, just 4 points clear of the Golden Knights atop the division, but we are atop the division nonetheless. So we will be approaching the deadline in a month or so. Let's get another look at the team. So Evander Kane has 36 points in 50 games, 20 goals is solid. It's not quite what I want out of a top liner, though, and of course we replaced him with Meyer. Even Tomas Hertl, 43 points and 20 goals. The 20 goals is solid. The good thing is with him, though, it's the extra assists that make it look a little bit better. But really, there's not that much of a difference between the two, so maybe it is tough to judge. Bjorkstrand on 39 points. You have Timo Meyer up to 46, so he's begun to catch his stride after a slow start, and you could argue that it would be worth just keeping him on that second line. That top line's doing all right. I don't think it'd be worth bumping Meyer back up. He has been phenomenal next to Logan Couture and Jordan Eberle. The third line, Gambrell, perfect. Absolutely perfect. I went into the series wanting the guys like Kevin Labanc and Dylan Gambrell to kind of be stars of this series. And obviously, Labanc just didn't stick around. He probably could have had I not been so determined to win with Marleau and Pavelski. But Dylan Gambrell has been perfect. If he can keep that up to the point where he's going to be a 30-point guy, he has a little bit of power play experience, not that much, but I'm very happy with him. Cole Perfetti, gave him an opportunity this season, 9 goals, 12 assists. It's okay. It's not amazing. The issue with him, I mean, again, should he be in the AHL? Is he NHL caliber? You can have that discussion. And Zach Hyman's been solid. You could argue it's a bit much to be paying someone in that role, but he does it very well. That fourth line, Dahlan, well, he has 12 points, but that defense has gotten a little bit worse. Noah Gregor with the 11 points and the -2. Blichfeld with 10 points. We're going to move Johnathan Dahlan. Gave him a little bit more time. It's just not happening, though. We'll move on from him. Erik Karlsson's a machine. Merkley doing so well next to him. The Bouchard-Waugh pairing still working out well, as is Fleury and Sandin. I mean, an extra defensive, insurance policy would be nice, but we did that last year. Still didn't work. Howard and Smith. Howard's decent. Smith has been solid. Again, it's not the ideal goaltending situation by any means, but there's really no point to go out and get, again, we had the opportunity to bring in a Matt Murray in the regular, or in the preseason, I guess it was, or the offseason. That's the correct word. We had a chance to bring in the likes of Matt Murray, David Riddick, but when you have Gustafsson, who is going to be ready next year, technically, he could play in the NHL this year, although in the SHL, he's struggling a little bit. He's the guy next year. Whether or not he's the starter or the backup, don't know yet. He's the guy, though. So why bother going out and getting somebody else when you have, hopefully, a number one goaltender who's a year away? It didn't make that much sense, of course. And again, the goaltending situation's looking decent as it is. Defensively, again, the idea, Friedman, some of these guys have a little bit of value. The idea of bringing in defensive backup is not a bad idea whatsoever. And to be honest, we might make a move there. Time will tell. And again, with the wingers, we have some other guys that I want to give an opportunity to. But at the very least, we need to see what we can get for Johnathan Dahlan. And hopefully the answer is something. Okay, and it is. I'm going to back out, though, because what I want to do is pair him. I think that medium bottom 6 forward's the only guy that we have unsigned that's worth trading. Spaghetti, let's add you into the mix. I forgot to reselect Johnathan Dahlan. That is unfortunate, and this game is... No, I didn't. Okay, so wow, I add him to the mix, and teams all of a sudden like, nah, we don't want him. It's extra value, dog. What the hell? Seriously? Now there's no trades for Dahlan. Are you... What? Excuse me? Johnathan Dahlan, please. Please? Did I accidentally reselect somebody that I'm not aware of? Am I losing it? Don't answer that. I think I am. What the hell? Can I just trade him now? I guess they changed their minds. Whoever they were with that trade offer, they just said, we changed our minds. Never mind. You didn't answer immediately. The opportunity's gone. All right, that's fine. I'll get the deal done myself. Just you watch me. Although I do want to add that one dude with no value. I just want to get rid of him. We're never going to sign him. So, while we're here, we might as well take a look at what is available out on the block. Matt Niskanen and David Krejci. No, thank you. Forward help Krejci is not what we need. The Yotes. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He's making $8 million over the next 5 years, though. The only way we could get him is if I got them to retain salary, and that is not going to happen. You talk about the forward help that could be here. Hoffman would be a decent addition, but we really don't need forward help. As it is, we have Joe Pavelski as a healthy scratch. So we're good for forwards. It would just be defensive help. And we're looking at like an Oesterle, a Ryan Suter, who still has 3 years left. So that's not going to happen. Boston, nobody that we're looking for. The Sabres are shopping Radko Gudas, and I don't blame them. They're also shopping that Cook guy. He's ridiculous. Calgary, trying to move on from Rasmus Anderson, who is on a decent little deal there. Derek Forbort has really dropped off. Did Marleau go to Calgary or Carolina again? I thought he went to Calgary, if I'm not mistaken. He did not, though. Okay. So in terms of options to bring in defensively, Anderson's there. How has he done this year? Not great. That's the correct answer. He has a wicked shot. Could be a decent offensive defenseman. His offensive awareness is a bit low. Calgary, though, is a bad team, so that would explain it. And them losing Johnny Gaudreau really hasn't helped them. Okay. I mean, you've had, now again, plus minus, not a great stat. But it is telling because I don't think Calgary was bad 3 out of 4 years. And he's been just okay at best from a defensive standpoint in the last 3 out of 4 years. To the point where I don't know why they gave him as much money as they did. He hits, he blocks, and he gives the puck away. You have to wonder how he'd do with a better team in front of him, but he is technically an option. Hurricanes have Suzuki. Again, I have no idea where Marleau ended up, and I know it's not a great idea, but I can't help it. We gotta drag him to a cup. Beckett and Salonen. Matt Grzelcyk, who they just signed, if I'm not mistaken. Yunus Brodin, Devon Taves. Dallas with Wenberg. Good old Harley Thomas. I know it's Thomas Harley. Remember the draft meme? I know June was a long time ago. But still, Wenberg still at an 85 is nuts. Master Simone never really developed. Darnell Nurse. Darnell Nurse. I don't know if we have the value to pick up Darnell Nurse, but he fits in on all defensive pairings, which reminds me, Calgary, Anderson, how do you fit in? Top 4. That's where we'd be playing him, so that's fine. But Darnell is an option. How has Nurse been over the past few years is my question. Jesus. Darnell Nurse has been really good. From an offensive standpoint, at least. Huh. Anderson and Nurse. Now, I don't know if we'd be able to bring in Darnell. That's an expensive price tag. But we could always try. Minnesota. Anybody? Clayson, Shattenkirk, Eric Branson, who's a shark. Or not a shark, a duck. Sorry, obviously. It's the Shark series. Him going to Anaheim was shocking. And no, I'm sorry. Rutherford does not deserve credit for, oh, well, you traded for him, but then he traded him away. No, that's the Bergevin deal. You don't get credit for fixing your own mess. You shouldn't have made the mess in the first place. That's just what you should do, is clean up your own mess. Am I wrong? Like, okay, good job, but next time don't make a mess. You don't get credit for fixing shit that you shouldn't have broken in the first place. So sorry, Jim. You and your cup rings probably plug in your ears. I'm sure you can't hear me anyway, but hey, no credit or sympathy from me. Scott Mayfield. God, do I really want to bring in Scott? I'm not bringing in Scott. I like Scott Mayfield, and we don't even know how he'd fit in on the team. He was just the next guy up. Capocacco, $13.4 million for 5 years, and they are trying to trade him. Woof. Trouba's also at 8x4. Good God. Brady, let's do that hockey is also getting paid a lot. The Rangers are in trouble. Ottawa with, is that Justin Williams still? Jesus Christ, retire already, man. Paul Mary, Stepan. That's where Stepan went. Jesus, his value is through the roof. 30 points in 51 games. Okay. Speaking of Kevin LeBanc, Ottawa for 5 years, $4 million, 4.5. They've barely played him. How is his value that high? I'm sorry, but that's nonsense, EA. You mean to tell me when morale's on that Kevin LeBanc is okay and not a lower overall than, like, how is his value that high? If his overall is that low with that cap hit, his value shouldn't be that high. His value should be in the toilet because they're not playing him. That's outrageous. His value should be at Connor Brown value. That doesn't make any sense. Philadelphia, nobody. Pittsburgh, Evgeny Malkin. Chris Letang, who's making all the money still, but his deal is up. Letang and Schultz. I don't know for sure how well they fit in. The assumption is that Schultz would. Sammy Vatanen's also there for 5 years. No, thank you. No, thank you. No. St. Louis, nobody. Tampa Bay, nobody. Toronto, nobody. Except, again, noted defenseman Nick Robertson. Vancouver, Michael Furlan's up to an 87. Jesus Christ. Vegas Golden Knights, Matthias Ekholm, again. He signed a 3-year deal, though. There's nobody there that I want that's on an expiring contract. Washington is looking to sell. They have Manson and Orlov. Dmitry Orlov? The point total's not great. He does fit in relatively well on this team. So there are options defensively. Darnell Nurse is probably the most intriguing of the group. So we'll keep that in mind. We have Anderson on Calgary, Nurse at Edmonton, a couple options on Pittsburgh, and an option in Washington. For now, let's talk to any team that can take these contracts. Montreal is perfect. Or just contract. Montreal. Jesus. And people say I pick Horde. God damn. Can I get a 3rd rounder? I had a feeling that would be too much. Hell, give me a 4th. Give me a 5th. Just give me something for Johnathan Dahlan so I don't lose him for nothing. If that's not the biggest goddamn meme of a statement I have ever read in my life. Rangers fans, don't hurt yourselves laughing. Jesus. Oh my God. What if I just let you fleece me? Please. Please, please, please. Call it a hunch. I don't think, I don't think teams are going to make you pay for putting Brendan Smith on waivers. And they'd immediately have to put Johnathan Dahlan on waivers. Son of a bitch. Philly? What do you think, Philly? Philly. All right, we're going to try to have to lose him on waivers at this rate. Can I get a 5th rounder from Tampa? He'll probably clear waivers at this rate. Vancouver isn't going to work. Vegas isn't going to work. Help me, Winnipeg. You're my only hope. 4th rounder? All right, well, Johnathan Dahlan's going through waivers. That's what we just learned today. Johnathan Dahlan is going through waivers. He might be claimed. He probably will be. But Johnny, thank you for your service. And on the come-up is going to not be Jordan Wheeler or Arturi Lehkonen, although I know a lot of you are like, please, for the love of God, play them. We are looking at Leonard Chekovich or Chmelevski over the likes of Alex True. Leonard, 19 and 18. How's Chekovich doing? And what about Chmelevski? Johnny Leonard, welcome to the NHL. Johnathan Dahlan was claimed by Montreal, which is fine by me. So we tried to get something for him. We couldn't. John Leonard, welcome aboard, sir. You get the opportunity on that 4th line for now. And we'll see what comes of it. Can you be a playmaker over a sniper? Which you probably should be. Gregor's still alright as a power forward. Again, he has a bit of an offensive side with that shot. That's why he's a power forward over a grinder. And Blichfeld's also a little bit defensive. Let's change Blichfeld to a playmaker really quickly. And although Leonard's also not a good fit on that 4th line. But still, if we bring in Blichfeld, or if we change Blichfeld's player type and change the role that we have him in, we should get a decent little, Jesus Christ, fucking best lines in the AHL, I don't care. We should get a decent little, at least a +1 boost on that 4th line, which should help them all out in a decent way. So, the issue right now is that I do not know what the hell I want to do when it comes to adding defensemen. Because in theory, our defensive situation could be better. But on paper, I guess on paper too, would be a different way to explain it. In reality, they've been fine. They have been. They've been fine. Mainly because of those overall boosts, and they all work out really well with this coach that we currently have. Do I want to look at goaltending options? I should probably look at goaltending options really quickly now that I think about it. Let's do it. This won't take as long to scroll through. Reimer and Huska will take our chances with who we already have. Peter Mrazek, how have you even done this year? Okay. That's hilarious. Tuukka Rask, still in Boston. Expiring deal. Jesus, that's how fucking Rask haters view him at all times, IRL. Calgary with Cal Peterson, Wallstead and Askarov. What a setup that is. Colorado with Downing, Columbus, nobody. Dallas, nobody. I mean, we could bring in Peter Mrazek as a potential insurance policy. That's about it. Crawford hasn't been great. Vanacek is there. Nashville, you got the Grubes, who's been pretty brutal. New Jersey with Riddick, who's hurt. You sign him and you already want to get rid of him. Varlamov and Nedeljkovic, both on expiring deals. Neither's really been that good, though. Elliott has been solid. Hank, not so much. So again, in terms of overalls, we're not looking at high-rated players. We're going to go with the veterans. There's a very good chance that at the deadline here, I don't do a damn thing. I got to be honest. There's a very strong chance that we just stick with who we got. Although, again, I might trade for Patrick Marleau. Because if this is the year, he's at least sitting up in that goddamn press box and he's getting a ring. Joe's a part of the coaching staff. Burnsy's down in the AHL. This, one way or another, these fuckers are getting a ring. As Jake McCabe has been dealt to Edmonton, so that makes me think their desire to get rid of Darnell Nurse isn't quite there. Brett Seney is on waivers. I have no real reason to claim you now, do I? So we'll let you go as we lose to Winnipeg. Derek Stepan on the move for 3 prospects. Shit, why didn't I trade Derek Stepan last year? That's insane. His value wasn't as high last year, if I'm not mistaken. Where's Marleau? I want to know. Where, oh where, could my Patty be? Oh where could he be? Because he's not a Shark. And he's had no lark. Anyway. Marleau, where you at? Buddy, New Jersey. Oh, God, they gave you 2 years? Ugh. How am I supposed to trade for you when they gave you an extra year and you're hurt? Oh, sweet mother of God. They don't even... How is your trade value that high? Okay, this meme might just have to die. It's not even a meme. I just want to win with San Jose Legends. I think that's all Sharks fans want too. Although, if you ask a Sharks fan at this point, they might just say, fuck the Legends, we just want to win. And I get that. I do. But what the hell? If I were to say, how does he have that much value? No trades. Okay, that meme's dead. Never mind. I'll stop joking about it. Maybe Marleau, if he becomes a staff member, will win a cup with the San Jose organization. But right now, we're just going to keep going. It's about 2 weeks out until the deadline. Let's send him to the 21st. We have 4 games in between now and then, including tonight against Arizona, which is a 3-2 victory. Columbus, as Kevin LeBanc is on the move. He goes to Dallas. He has been bouncing around everywhere. He goes with Williams and Jaros to Ottawa, or to Dallas from Ottawa for Wenberg, and Ty Dellandrea, who never really panned out. We crush the Blue Jackets, we lose in overtime to the Islanders, and destroy the Pittsburgh Penguins. But yet, we're only 3 points clear of Vegas. We've had a very good season, but the Golden Knights are hot on our tail. And that really does put the pressure on, in a traditional sense, to make trades and stock up. Leonard's been fine. I can't complain. Gregor's still on a good pace. Blichfeld's looking a little bit better. Leonard's been pretty good for that 4th line. The 3rd line again, I'm very happy. I like this team. 30 goals already for Jordan Eberle. And 28 for Timo Meier. Jesus. I mean, how many 20 goal scorers do we have already? 2, 3, 4. 4 20 goal scorers already. and we're not even a deadline day. And again, this defense, the only thing I'm concerned about is a little bit of depth. But I absolutely trust the talent that's there right now, especially because of those +5s for Bouchard and Waugh. It's tremendous. And then Smith has a 917, Howard a 908. So again, DeSimone is there as a backup. That's the only thing I'm worried about. Like, we have Mario Ferraro. I don't know if I have as much faith in Bergman, Ryan Key, Cuckoo. I think we're just going to trust who's there. That's the one issue, is I don't have that defenseman that's up and coming that I can be like, okay, here you go, you get the chance. Outside of Mario Ferraro. We are going to sim to deadline day. This is huge. We take on the 9-1 in their last 10 Vegas Golden Knights. This might as well be a playoff game a week out from the deadline. There could be a huge point swing for Vegas. Will there be? The answer is no. We crushed them. Tanev and Savard to Toronto for Pelletier. Torigny in a 4th, but that is another statement victory against the Golden Knights, although we lose to Pittsburgh and potentially Edmonton. We beat the Oilers, which is nice. Rasmus Sandin was roughed up, but he's good to go as we take on the Blackhawks, and that's a 5-1 loss. We are just 2 points clear, despite the win over the Golden Knights. This is going to be a showdown over the next month. We played them once on the 19th, and that is our last meeting with them for the year. So we are very much in a 2-horse race for this division title, although that's a lie. Holy hell, Anaheim is on a tear lately. This is a 3-team division. It's going to be tough, but we are trusting the talent that's here. Leonard's been solid. Again, Gregor up to 20 points. I'm trusting this team. We're going to do it. There is no reason to not trust the guys who have gotten there, who have gotten us to this point. The only guy I am worried about, admittedly, is Jimmy Howard, because Mike Smith's been better, but the game's going to start Howard over Smith. Obviously, I'm worried about the goaltending. The issue is that, again, we can add here, but adding didn't help us last year or the year before. What's the point? What is the point of adding? Trust the guys who got you to the dance. As Gustafsson is an 80. I am so tempted to waste a year of his ELC by signing him now. I'm not going to do it, but I'm tempted. That's all I'm saying. He hasn't been great in Sweden this year. But again, next year, this is his team, or at least partially his team. No doubt about it. Do we have any other unsigned talents who are magically just good? That happens every now and then. Ellison's a 78 at 20 years old, but we really have no reason to sign him either. We'll just let him continue to kill it in the OHL. But we are definitely getting 2 solid additions onto this squad next year, on top of the the players that we already have. Let's do this. We're going through deadline day. One way or another. This is the, one way or another we're going to find out what this team has to offer. But this is the team. We're sticking with them. We've seen so many March collapses when I've had the, this attitude. We've had so many collapses in March when I'm like, okay, everything's looking good. No moves at the deadline. And then I rue that day for the rest of time. Thankfully, we've started off well. The injury to Evan Bouchard didn't help. We'll see ultimately how DeSimone was able to do in relief. Not great. Not great. But we will get Evan Bouchard back onto that pairing, and that +5 just looks so good, doesn't it? It's gorgeous, I tell you. Gorgeous. Washington and Philadelphia up next. We've lost 2 games in a row. Make that 3 in a row. Vegas has jumped us, but we do have a game at hand. Big game against Vegas, and we lose 5-1. A 4-game losing streak. We then lose to Vegas. We are now a point back of the Golden Knights. Thank God we beat the Vancouver Canucks. But we're now a point back of Vegas with 10 games to go. The overtime losses happen to be what's saving us at this moment. Not the best time for a negative stretch like that And if we look here, I mean, John Leonard, he's technically on a decent point pace for a fourth liner. I feel like that fourth line got roughed up a little bit, though, over the course of those games. Cole Perfetti, you could argue, he isn't quite ready. Perfetti's not ready. He's doing okay. There is obviously an option who might do even better on that third line. There's a chance that it's going to be a pretty short leash for Cole in the playoffs. The third line's done well. It's just weird that, I mean, granted, Gambrell has power play time. Last we knew, he didn't have a ton of power play points. He only has 7 power play points. The other 2 on that line should be a little bit further up there, but that's okay. Goaltending-wise, Jimmy Howard's not it. Jimmy Howard's not it for us right now. Mike Smith is shaping up to be our starter in the playoffs, which is not what I envisioned for this season. Eliasson, neither is doing all that well in the AHL this year. The issue here, and I know that Howard's a higher overall but has a lower role, it's because of morale. The issue is it's going to continue to start Jimmy Howard down the stretch. And I just wonder if that is going to screw us over once we get to crunch time. Mario Ferraro is going to get the call up. We're going to send down DeSimone. And Ferraro is our healthy scratch heading into the playoffs. Sarangovic is also going to go down. We can just outright send him down. He was not claimed. So, I don't know how I want to handle the goaltending. I might just leave it as is. It is a tad bit problematic. But we'll see what happens here. Again, we're neck and neck with Vegas. Can we beat Colorado? Very good team. They've struggled a bit lately. A win here would be tremendous, and we get it, 4-2. That brings us to this game against the Rangers. We are still trailing by 1 point. Vegas. Can we beat the Rangers to try and keep pace? Yes, we can. A 3-0 shutout. Still a point back, but we have clinched a playoff spot yet again. We have yet to miss the playoffs in this series. We play the Bruins, who are fighting for their playoff lives. They are on a tear as of late, 7 wins in their last 10 as Ryan Merkley picks up an injury that'll keep him out. We lose in a shootout. A win would have seen us back in the first place, but we are now dead even with the Golden Knights in points. They have the tiebreaker as it stands, but a crucial point there. As we'll take a look at the defensive situation, Ferraro's a pretty damn good fit. We could get that +5. I feel like the +5, though, on Waugh and Bouchard's a hell of a lot more important than a +5 on Erik Karlsson. So we are going to leave Mario Ferraro right there. That works out for me. You know, I'm actually going to leave Karlsson on that side because he's done so well on that side this season. So, I mean, again, Waugh is a perfect fit on either line, as is Bouchard. Sandin drops a bit. Fleury improves. I'm going to leave it as is. So Mario Ferraro will be playing top pairing minutes with Erik Karlsson down the stretch here. We have a game against the Ducks. They are now 10 points back of the pace that we have set. The Golden Knights won their last game. We need a win here against a decent Ducks team, and we get it. We're a point back, 1 point back of Vegas with a game at hand. So a big game here against the Blues. Solid team, 500 hockey as of late. Can we get another win? No, we can't. And with that, Vegas stays a point clear with 5 games to go. They are ahead. They won their last game. We need a win here against the Oilers, a very bad Oilers team, and we lose. That might do it. That might do it. That might be the loss that we can't overcome. They lost their last game. We need to beat the Canucks to keep that dream alive, and it's a 7-2 win, so thankfully they slipped up. But we have 3 games left, and ideally we'd have to win all 3 Or it's at least, ideally we'd win all three. Likely we're going to have to win all three, as we're still a point back of Vegas for yet another division title. Defensively, that pairing, that fourth line's gotten roughed up a little bit as of late. We'll go with a quick switch on the sides just to see what happens. Ferraro hasn't done well. I was hoping he would. He hasn't done well. I don't know who would get the call up defensively that I'd trust more. Merkley's almost back, so perhaps it doesn't matter. But it's like, man, if you can't play well next to Erik Karlsson, then I don't know what to tell you. Friedman has had an interesting season. I don't know. Okay, current coach Parento, so that's the AHL. He likes Brent Burns. That's good. So, pinch and balanced. Pinch and balanced are his preferred strats. We'll leave it as is. There might be a lot of shuffling, though, because I don't know if I'm going to trust Ferraro down the stretch. Gigantic game against Nashville here, and we win it, but we're still a point back. We have to win out. That's crazy. Gigantic game against Arizona. They've played very well recently. Merkley is back, and we beat the Yotes. We're in first. We are a point above the Vegas Golden Knights. All we have to do is win this game against the Kings to end this season, and we claim yet another division title. As insane as that is, and Ryan Merkley is 100%. He will be ready to go for the final game of the season. Vegas has yet to play. The Kings are not a playoff team. This needs to be a win to make sure. Let's find out. Are we going to be Pacific Division champions yet again? Here we go. First period. Archibald and Niederreiter on the power play. That's brutal. Second period. Third period. We need to hope that Vegas slipped up. Evander Kane gets our only goal. Have the Golden Knights stolen away the division title? They have not. They lost. They forced us to keep a ridiculous pace down the stretch, but we did. We outlast them, and we will be taking on the Anaheim Ducks in the first round. The Jets will take on the St. Louis Blues, so there you go. It was a tough matchup no matter what. It was either Anaheim or Arizona. The Pacific Division, pretty damn good this year, but we were able to hold on. And would you look at that? We have some things to talk about. Let's take a look at the rest of the standings here, though, quickly, shall we? So again, we claim yet another Pacific Division title. Out of the Central, Winnipeg, Colorado, Chicago, and St. Louis made it. Was that Minnesota at the bottom? It was Nashville. They were terrible. Out of the Atlantic, Florida, Montreal, and Ottawa, despite all the changes. Out of the Metro, Carolina, Philadelphia, Washington, Pittsburgh, and the New York Islanders. The Devils were awful. So we were the third best team in the league this year on 105 points. We scored 3.51 goals for per game, which was a top 5 offense. The defense and goaltending at a 2.9, which was in the bottom 7. Our power play was at 26.1%, the 6th best in the league. And our penalty kill was at 76.8. That is going to need some work, but it was mid-table, which perhaps isn't surprising, as rather than Derek Stepan, we had a bit more of an offensive fourth line this year. You could argue whether or not that's the right call if you want to, and you might not be wrong. Forward-wise, Logan Couture led the way with 79 points this year and a plus 21. Only 14 of those points on the power play. Timo Meier, 77 points, 38 goals. I cannot complain. He is one of 4 players to hit 30 goals for us this year, and that includes Jordan Eberle, who led the team with 39 goals. That is the best contract in the NHL. Yeah. I get it. Johnny Gaudreau might have had a really good year. You're not getting a better bang for buck contract than that Jordan Eberle deal. Holy hell, man. Unbelievable player for us. Tomas Hertl with 73 points, 34 goals. Bjorkstrand, I mean, hey, we had to pay him a little bit more this year, but what a player he's been for us. A gem over the past 2 seasons. Look at that production. It's crazy. 28 of those points on the Look at what he was in Columbus and what we've turned him into. Absolute insanity. Evander Kane hit 30 goals as well, but only 57 points. I'm a little bit worried about him, obviously, with how much money we have tied up there. Dylan Gambrell, 46 points on the third line. On the third? On the third. Jesus. Third line, not the fourth. Big chef's kiss to that is what I wanted to say. I was going to say 30 assists, and it was a mess. Zach Hyman with 31 points. Pretty damn good. Cole Perfetti as well. Can't complain about that third line production. Blichfeld with 19 points. A little bit below where I'd want him, but that's okay, given as, all the other goal scorers that we had. That fourth line, Leonard was a great addition. Again, Gregor and Blichfeld a little bit below the production for what I'd want. Leonard's point per game pace is very good, though, for a fourth liner. I'm just wondering about defense. Maybe Gregor and Blichfeld, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, because there are some guys who... Well, Leonard apparently had power play time. There are some guys down in the AHL still, Chekovich, Chmelevsky mainly, that might be able to do better on the fourth line. But it's tough to bring them in for the playoffs and just be like, okay, let's see what they do. But if these two in particular slip up, there's a chance they get replaced. Defensively, that speaks for itself. Erik Karlsson, 101 points as a defenseman, something I don't think he'll ever do in real life, seeing as he can't turn to his right anymore. But yeah, he thrived under this new head coach. Unbelievable. Ryan Merkley, 35 points. Very good for him, seeing as we moved him to more of a defensive role to get that extra chemistry with Karlsson. Evan Bouchard, 21 points. Fantastic. Jeremy Waugh, that second pairing, on point. And then Sandin and Fleury, happy with them. I mean, Sandin slipped up a little bit, but what am I going to do, complain about one minus defenseman? No, it's fine. Although, again, Mario Ferraro, I do have some doubts about. Goaltending-wise, no doubt about it, Mike Smith gets the opportunity out of the gates. 17, 2, and 5. Mike Smith is our starting goaltender. And don't worry, I have the same look on my face as he does in that picture when I say the words Mike Smith is the starting goaltender of the San Jose Sharks heading into the playoffs. Oh boy. Whew, that's going to be interesting. One way or another. Let's take a look around the league to finish recapping this regular season. Alex Ovechkin and Evgeny Kuznetsov had a very, very good season. Crosby and McKinnon, the only other two to break the 100-point mark. As you see, everybody who broke the 90-point mark. And we'll take a look at everybody who broke at least the point-per-game milestone. Goal scorer, top goal scorer, Ovechkin, obviously. Quite a few 40-goal scorers. We had one as well. Josh Norris was one of them. That's insanity. The assist king was Kuznetsov, to the surprise of nobody. Plus-minus wise, it's a Laine, plus 42, worst in the league. Philip Forsberg, Jesus Christ. But Nashville was terrible, so it's not all that surprising. Defensively, let's take a look here. I think I know who it's going to be. Erik Karlsson, Gostis Bear, Klingberg, a couple of guys, Cale Makar as well, all had very respectable seasons, but Karlsson, 33 points on the power play. Even without those power play points, he's up there. That's how insane he was this year. Goaltending-wise, the winningest was Marc-Andre Fleury, one of 3 goaltenders to win 40 games this year. Shutout king, Varlamov and Hart with 6 each. And the Vezina is likely... Wow, Roddy Ross getting time for Philly. The Vezina is likely to go to Sergei Bobrovsky. Varlamov has an outside shot. I would say Matt Murray did pretty damn well in Detroit, but he did get hurt. Rookie of the year, It's going to be Dylan Guenther in Montreal. Not even close. Not even close. Gabe Velarde also apparently just had his rookie season. It's 23. Jesus. So that will do it for this season. And now, it gets scary because we're going into the playoffs again as the winners of the division again, and all the pressure in the world resides on our collective shoulders as we need to get out of the first round. For the love of God, please.